Gunmen abduct two siblings in Abuja. Student of Bethel High School regains freedom 2 years after abduction. Court orders Emefiele's release from EFCC custody. On the foreign scene, Israeli air raid kills Palestinian journalist and family in Gaza. These are the headlines on Trust TV News Update at this hour. I am Ayuba Ilya. Thanks for joining. Beginning with security matters, gunmen in the early hours of Thursday abducted two siblings at Mboko community located off Dutse Buari Highway in the Buari Area Council in the Federal Capital Territory FCT. The community hosts some mining sites within the area council. The report.
The attack took place within one compound where the two victims, a male and a female sibling, were abducted. The landlord, Michael Waipo Silva, explained details of the incident.
So we both are night shift. So we were not at home when the incident occurred, only to find out in our group chat that something like kidnapper is in our compound. They destroyed, they took two sisters away. So at the morning, we now came and saw that it was real, that even my uterus was broken, and they checked that there was nobody in. Before they now took, maybe they now came to this other place, my neighbor's place, and took the two siblings, a boy and a girl. So luckily for the guy now escaped on his way. So according to the sisters and the brother, they say they are asking for a ransom of 100 million.
The chief of the community, Ibrahim Y. Dangana, said this is the first time that such attack is happening within the community.
Our local government chairman has been trying all his possible best to see how he can bring the end of this situation that it has been happening. Many villages have been affected, and we are also trying to, our present FCT minister has also been trying to see how to bring the end of this thing.
Buari is one of the councils in the FCT that's been affected by the kidnappers' attacks in recent times.
A student of Bethel High School, Kaduna, who was among the 121 students kidnapped by the terrorists, has regained freedom after being in captivity for almost 2 years. The president of the Baptist Conference, Reverend Ishaya Adamu Jangado, while confirming the release of the students to Trust TV's Bello Musa, declined to divulge further information, stating that immediate address will be made soon.
The grandmother told me that she was also just sitting in her room, and there was a knock at the door, and she opened, and lo and behold, our great son came back. How? And the story is that he also just came out by the roadside, and here vehicle saying Kaduna, Kaduna, Kaduna. He does not even know where exactly is the place. But he entered it and keeps sitting until they arrive Kaduna. And because he is not a small boy, he knows Kaduna. He finds himself in Sabo and knows the route to where his grandmother's house is.
My joy is fulfilled because we have been praying and trusting God. Just what the camp chairman said, we have lost hope. We are thinking that this thing will not be possible again. But one thing that we pray and agreed, what God did to the prodigal son, we are praying that God should do same to our son Treasure Ayuba.
Justice O. Adeniji of the High Court in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, has ordered the immediate and unconditional release of the immediate past governor of the CBN, Godwin Emefiele, from the custody of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission on Thursday. The judge gave the order following a motion experte by Emefiele's legal team. Now ruling on the application, Justice Adeniji ordered the unconditional release of Emefiele from detention forthwith, or in the alternative, produce him in court on the date fixed for hearing of the substantive motion on notice for purposes of being admitted to bail by the court. The EFCC arrested Emefiele on October 27 immediately after his release from the custody of the Department of State Services, where he had been kept since June 10. Now, the embattled ex-CBN boss has been embroiled in legal matters since his removal from office by the President Tinubu. The Supreme Court has fixed January 26, 2024 for judgment in the appeal by a former member of the House of Representatives, Farouk Lawan, who is presently in jail. A 5-member panel led by Justice John Okoro chose the date after lawyers to the parties made their final submissions and adopted their written briefs. Lawan's appeal is seeking to set aside the February 24, 2022 judgment of the Court of Appeal in Abuja, which sentenced him to a 5-year jail term and discharged him on 2 counts of the 3 counts on the corruption charge brought against him by the federal government. Lawan was convicted by a High Court of the Federal Capital Territory on June 22, 2021 on a 3-count charge of soliciting a bribe, agreeing to accept a bribe, and actually accepting a $500,000 bribe from businessman Femi Otedola. The Chief Judge of Rivers State Justice Simeon Chibuzo Amadi has granted pardon to 53 inmates standing trial for various offences at the Port Harcourt Maximum Correctional Centre. The exercise is part of the activities outlined to kick off the 2023-2024 legal year in the state, as well as being a move to decongest the Maximum Correctional Centre in Port Harcourt. Justice Amadi said that the exercise is also in compliance with the provision of Section 34, subsection 1 of the Criminal Justice Law of Rivers State and the Special Provision Act of the Laws of the Federation, which empowers the Chief Judge to visit Correctional Center to ascertain the number of inmates in custody, their duration of stay, and determine those deserving of a pardon. Justice Amadi also called on the police to be thorough in their investigations before charging suspects to court. In his remarks, the controller of the State Correctional Service, Felix Lawrence, commended the Criminal Justice System Administration in the state for effectively decongesting the Port Harcourt Maximum Correctional Service. The Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps says it has concluded investigations on suspected homosexuals arrested in connection with plans to contract same-sex marriage. The NSCDC in October arrested 76 individuals in Gombe metropolis on suspicion of homosexual activities. Trust TV's Ibrahim Ismail has an update.
The arrest of the suspected homosexuals has generated public interest beyond Gombe State as the NSCDC unravels the suspected same-sex activities. So far, the Gombe State Command of the NSCDC has confirmed the release of 55 individuals that have been cleared of wrongdoing. The NSCDC, after conducting medical examinations and other investigations, has found evidence linking 21 suspects to transgender and homosexual activities.
Investigation is ongoing. You know, at each stage, we need to satisfy the finding, the records, and what to be tendered to court or before court are intact. And as God will have it, we virtually arrested virtually everyone within the scenario of the event. You know, that one is normal. Before we come back to office and filter those that are directly involved and those that are not directly involved.
Speaking on the changing societal value system, the commandant identified parental gaps and other vices as factors responsible for the rise in homosexual acts. Gombe State government, in reaction to the development, constituted a committee of religious leaders, human rights activists, and the judiciary with a mandate to unravel the facts of the matter. We are not delivering a judgment on this matter. We can recommend for them to be taken to court, but we can't preempt the court. Although investigations are still ongoing, it remains to be seen how the outcome will determine the fate of the suspect, as same-sex marriage remains illegal in Nigeria. Ibrahim Ismail, Trust TV News, Gombe.
Justice M.M. Okeke of the Federal High Court in Ibadan has ordered the remand of 2 suspects in connection with an assault charge on customs officials in Oyo State. The suspects were accused of shooting a customs officer during a routine inspection at Tapa in Ibarapa area of Oyo State. Now, the case has been adjourned until 24th and 25th of January 2024 as counsel for the 2 defendants applied for their bail.
We believe they should not be granted bail. And we have stated our reasons in our own counter affidavit before the court. So on the dates, the application will come up, most likely before the 24th and the 25th. Because if you were in the court, if you listen, the court was saying that if the papers are ready, they can come before the time, so that the application could be taken.
When you charge to court, you will be made known of the offense against you, which will be read to you clearly and to your understanding. Having pleaded to it, whether you are guilty or not guilty, so the court will go ahead and the application for bail will be made.
The Ogun State Police Command says it has arrested one Afolabi Taiwo, a suspected cultist terrorizing the Abioro community in the Sango Ota area of the state. The public relations officer of the command, Omolola Odutola, disclosed this in a statement on Friday. Odutola said that Taiwo was arrested while trying to launch an attack on a member of the community who raised the alarm. Odutola added that Taiwo confessed to being a member of the dreaded Ayeko fraternity, stressing that efforts are ongoing to arrest other members of the group. She stated that the arrest was made through collaboration with the Ogun State Social Orientation and Safety Corps. You're watching the news update on Trust TV. Coming up shortly. Maiduguri residents lament over availability of cash in circulation. Details and more after the break.
The early history of human existence can be traced to the heart of northern Nigeria. Here, archaeologists found evidence of a group of people who sculpted clay and developed tools to smelt iron. The local artifacts tell the tale of skilled craftsmen. Evidence of ironworking and tools date from roughly the 7th century BCE at Taruga, near Abuja. The fertile lands around the Kaduna River provided the perfect settlement for this thriving civilization. This is the area largely referred to as the Nak culture. Red-colored earthenware sculptures called terracotta were found within a 500-kilometer radius of Taruga.
Hello and welcome to Creative Lounge on Trust TV. My name is Ahmed Mohammed Bello and I'm going to be taking you through my journey.
Thanks for staying with us. This is the news update on Trust TV. A look at the top stories again. Gunmen abduct 2 siblings in Abuja. Student of Bethel High School regains freedom 2 years after abduction. In other news, Borno State Governor Babagana Umara Zulum has inspected 1,000 housing projects at Logumani and Gajibo communities of Ngala and Dikwa local government areas. Both communities were significantly destroyed by Boko Haram insurgents, displacing residents since 2014. Now, at Logumani, where 500 houses are being constructed, Zulum expressed confidence that the ongoing work will be completed and people will be resettled in 2 months. The governor noted that the construction comprises basic amenities such as primary school, health center, police station and deep aquifer borehole meant for the provision of water to the community. At Gajibo, another community in Dikwa local government area where the construction of another 500 houses is ongoing, Zulum ordered that the project should be completed in 3 months to allow residents to return home. Now, there is a growing concern among members of the public in Maiduguri, the Borno State capital, that cash in circulation is becoming increasingly scarce as residents and business owners complain of lack of access. Although the central bank has assured Nigerians of adequate liquidity, the situation in Maiduguri is reminiscent of the cash crunch in late 2022. Trust TV's Bitrus Kuruti has the situation.
The mild cash crunch in Maiduguri metropolis is causing unease among residents as many fear a repeat of last year's experience when the central bank rolled out its monetary policy. The unusual naira scarcity is unsettling businesses as available cash is running out with demand increasing by the day. Even point-of-sale operators are unable to augment the shortfall of available cash in circulation.
We used to go to local government because local government they are having more cash than us. So we used to go to local government to search for money and come back to it into Maiduguri right now here. Like even today, I even went to the one of local government before I get the cash. Based on my perception, I did not hear anything about this scarcity of naira. They only say that it's December, but government has not talked about old note or new note up to now. It's just people that they have started hiding the new note. That's the reason why scarcity here in Maiduguri is too much than any place.
Some residents speak on how the current situation is disrupting their activities on a day-to-day basis.
Because this cash now as I come here now to look for cash, I even asked for 10,000. They even say that I should pay 10,500. I don't know what will happen. I even tell them, say make you collect 10,300. He say collect 10,300. Voila, we are suffering because of this cash.
Like yesterday, what can I say? I do market like 120,000, but the thing waiting for my pocket is just only 3,000 to buy food for our house. And I don't get cash. The kind of people where I suffer for buying all those cheap and where I will do for my house because all those local people where they are selling something do not want to collect transfer.
We even ask our friends that they are used to work at the bank. They say that the bank people, the problem that they are facing now, CBN they are not giving them cash because they don't know the actual. They didn't talk about the actual time where they will change their money. That old money.
There are fears that the scarcity might be connected to the deadline of the old naira notes issued by the Supreme Court, which would take effect by December. Bitrus Kuruti, Trust TV News, Maiduguri.
According to statistics from the Central Bank of Nigeria, federal government's oil revenue target for May dropped from 804 billion naira to 223 billion naira, representing about 72% reduction in federal earnings. According to the report, oil revenue at 223 billion naira for May was 36% below receipts in the preceding month and below the monthly target of 804 billion naira. The observed shortfall in oil revenue, according to the CBN, was driven mainly by lower receipts from petroleum profit tax and royalties. The report also added that gross federation earnings dropped as a result of lower oil and non-oil receipts. Away from Nigeria, an Israeli air raid has killed a journalist working for the Palestinian Authority's television channel, as well as 10 family members. And Palestinian TV accused Israel of carrying out a deliberate assassination of Mohammed Abu Hatab as it bombed his family home in Gaza's Khan Yunis in the south of the territory. Sources at Nasser Hospital in Khan Yunis said that at least 11 people were killed in the strike. The statement said that an airstrike hit Abu Hatab's apartment shortly after his arrival. Rwanda has announced plans to allow Africans travel visa-free to the country, becoming the latest nation on the continent to announce such measure aimed at boosting free movement of people and trade to rival Europe's Schengen zone. Now, President Paul Kagame made the announcement on Thursday in Rwandan capital Kigali, where he pitched the potential of Africa as a unified tourism destination for a continent that still relies on 60% of its tourists from outside Africa, according to data from the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa. Once implemented, Rwanda will become the fourth African country to remove travel restrictions for Africans. Other countries on the list include Gambia, Benin, Seychelles. Kenya's President William Ruto announced plans to allow all Africans to travel to the East African nation visa-free by December 31. Now, teenage sensation Victor Wembanyama scored 38 points, his most in an NBA game, to help the San Antonio Spurs beat the Phoenix Suns 132-121. The 19-year-old, who was the league's top draft pick this year and stands at 7 feet 4 in tall, also grabbed 10 rebounds in his fifth NBA game. The Suns erased a 27-point deficit to level at 116 in the fourth quarter. Frenchman Wembanyama then scored 10 points as the Spurs went on a 12-0 run on the way to securing victory. Overall, Wembanyama has scored 103 points in his 5 NBA outings. Devin Booker scored 31 points and registered 13 assists for the Suns on his return from an ankle injury, while teammate Kevin Durant scored 28 points. Jessica Pegula progressed to the last 4 at the WTA finals with a perfect record, but Aryna Sabalenka and Elena Rybakina must resume their march on Friday after play was suspended. America Pegula had already qualified, but the 5th seed made it 3 successful victories in Cancun by beating Greek Maria Sakkari 6-3, 6-2. World number 1 Sabalenka led 6-2, 3-5 against Rybakina and will serve to level the match when play resumes. The winner will reach the semi-finals. And that's a wrap on the news update. You can watch more via all our social media platforms and also on our YouTube live stream. I am Ayuba Ilya. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.